Welcome to episode 4 of the NPK Show. Today we're talking about grow tents, all aspects of grow tents. So we're going to be building them, setting them up, and the equipment needed to put them in. But firstly, me and Thomas are going to go around the shop and show you the different sizes and the different aspects of grow tents to help you decide in your buying choice.
Come on man, let's go, let's stop talking.
Come on then.
So, you and Thomas thought that you'd kick me out of last week's episode.
We certainly did.
Barry building the lab, but I kicked Thomas out for this little part. And Barry's going to build a tent, and we'll go through some top tips when you're building a tent and some of the equipment that you're going to use. Let's get right into it. Let's go through some of the kit that we've got.
Kit list, tent first, major part of it, isn't it? Everything else goes into it. So we've got our tent, our fan, filter, ducting, that's the kit sorted. We've also got our light kit. These are the three main things: light, fan, filter, and your tent. First, we're going to start with the tent.
So, top tip then, when you're opening up the cardboard box, be very careful if you're using a scalpel or a Stanley blade or some scissors, because right underneath that cardboard box is the tent lining. If you slash the tent lining, then you're going to have issues. So while Barry's putting the base together, it's a little something that you might want to consider when you're purchasing your grow tent. Plastic corners or metal corners. Now, a lot of growers tend to think that metal corners will be stronger, and they are pretty strong, but the new plastics that are coming out are also very strong. And if on the bigger tents that you purchase, you tend to put a little bit of weight coming down on the tent, then the plastics have just that little bit maneuverability, they've got that little bit of stretch in them, whereas metal corners, obviously there's going to be no movement, so the weight that you'll be pulling down on metal corners could cause, over time, a little bit of stress on them, cause them to break, whereas I feel plastic corners probably have a bit more longevity in them, so a little something to consider. If these are even just a couple of centimetres up, because you haven't pushed them all the way down, when you come to put the skin on at the end, then it can make it quite tough. So that is building the grow tent. We're about to start the installation, so setting up the light, the fan, the filter, and we'll go through some of the features before we head downstairs and show you some of the other tents we've got in the shop and some of the features that the bigger tents need.
So, now that we've got our tent set up, we're going to come to the fan and filter. Best to build it outside the tent and hang it all up in one unit as one go. So, we've got our 6-inch fan, 6-inch filter, 6-inch ducting. We're only going to use the ducting on the out. We're not going to use it to bridge the filter and the fan together. We're going to use a fast clamp and a bit of silver tape. So,
But can you if you need to?
yeah, you can if you need to.
So
Yeah.
if your fan was too big, say it was like a box fan or an Isomax,
Oh, then you wouldn't dream of doing it. Yeah.
You'd have your
You'd
fan
bridge it
outside the
then.
tent.
You'd have your fan outside the tent, filter inside the tent. But because this is only small, we're happy that's
in an ideal world, you just want to put the two together.
and put them in the tent. Are you happy?
I'm happy.
That's more than on there.
But you reckon? Yeah, let's pull it apart. Alright. And that's pretty good actually, isn't it?
See?
Alright, one more.
It's not the
One
tape,
more.
it's me. That's
One more. I've got you off balance then. Once you're off balance, you're done.
So, that's
coming
enough of that,
out.
I'm starting to sweat. We know it's on. It's not going anywhere. So, know what I like about this little filter?
Yeah.
What filter is it against it?
6-inch fresh filter. So take that off completely. That's your filter, packed with lots of lovely Australian carbon in there. Fresh, very good filter as well.
I like this though.
I know we
Some
have a
of
little.
them,
We,
you have to slide on, don't you? It can be a nightmare. This.
nice and tight.
I like that.
So there's no gaps for the air to leak through. Really easily replaceable, so once every 3 months, 4 months, you whip this off until it's gone dirty, they're cheap enough just to replace as well.
Now in an ideal world, we'd want the ducting to be straight. Some tents do come with the vent holes inside, don't they, Steve?
Yeah.
Some just come with them in the top. So every tent's different. On this one, unfortunately, we've got no side vent. We've got a little 4-inch one, but it's at the wrong end. So what we need to do now is we are going to have to put the 90-degree bend in it. It's unfortunate, but you have got to live with what you've got. You can see what I'm doing. Just fold the last piece in like that, and makes it a lot easier to get on. Now that we've got our fan and filter in our tent, it's time to move on to the light. Basic light kit. We've got our light, our rope ratchets, our ballast, and the lead to put the ballast in to power it up. So, first of all, make sure you take the sheeting off it. A lot of people who will come into the shop will say, "Excuse me, mate, I bought lights off you last week, and is it blue? What's the difference?" And it's just a wrapper that it comes in, mate. There is no difference. So make sure you take it off because it could end up being a fire. Listen, but melts to the shade. The shade's in the bin, I wouldn't use it. So let's go for hanging this up. You don't want to touch them. Grease on your fingers eats up and cause the bulb to break. So the easiest way I found is to pierce the bulb open, grab it by the silver end and pull it out so far, and then keep hold of the packaging of the bulb, don't take it out, and then screw your bulb in using the packaging.
If you're changing bulbs, this isn't your first time, and you've done a grow with your bulb and you need to change it, say let's say you change from 6 to 400 or 400 to 600, and you haven't got the packaging, it's always nice to have cloth on you. So if you haven't got a cloth, a t-shirt will do, just so long as, like Barry said, the grease oil from your finger. You won't be thinking, how come you haven't used a magnetic? Because you shouldn't be using magnetics. If you just talk to any of the guys in the US, they've stopped using magnetics 10 years ago. It's time to start using digitals. These now come down so much in price that spending the extra £10–15 to get a digital light kit is well worth it.
What is it that, with a magnetic ballast and a digital ballast, what is it about taking the photo and you can see the dark spots what our eye can't catch?
So that's the HZ, the hertz that it runs at. So a bulb on magnetic ballast is going to turn itself on and off once every 60, or it's going to turn itself on and off 60 times a second. So when you run a camera on it, you can see this. If you're using a single timer, this is the only one that I would personally use. They say it's rated for up to 3,600 watts. But it will definitely run one 600 watt light, especially on a digital ballast.
So if I was going to run more than 2 lights, I'd go for the proper contact.
Something like a power star controller with one of these.
With one of them, yeah.
And these are IP44 rated, so not waterproof, but splash proof, humidity proof. So this is a proper grow room piece of kit. Please do not go and buy the £1 ones from the pound shop.
You won't last you 2 minutes, you'll spend more than £1.
Exactly. Right, we're downstairs. We'll come to have a look at some of the features of really good quality tents.
You can tell a good quality tent when you see one. Look at it. It's got a well thicker skin on it, well better skin compared to the last one what we set up. I think these poles are what, 24 mil. I think you can get the poles in what, 16, 24, and I'm sure you can get like a 36 mil pole.
Yeah.
30. I'll have to look into it because it could be longer. I'm sure there's one with a dip pole. And what I like about this tent, you can tell it's quality because we've got our pockets to put our snips, hydrostats, little bits and bobs, spoons, snips, everything like that in it. It's got a lot more vents and it's got a lot more poles on the top, and this is a right sturdy tent.
A right sturdy
tent this is.
The reflective material also is a lot better, more reflective. So the amount of light that your plants are going to receive is going to increase, and you're probably going to get a slight increase in yield as well. This particular tent, Gorilla Grow Tent, this is the US version, and these are really high quality. You've got to get your money out for them, but if you want the best, you've got to get the money out. You know about cheap tents, don't you? You've seen them before. What happens if you buy cheap?
You buy cheap, mate, you're just opening yourself up to a world of things. People think it's cheap. People see a difference of, let's say, £100 between tents, but you end up buying 3 tents. That means you're £100 down. No, you should have just bought the tent for 200 rather than 100, because I guarantee you now, especially if you're putting it up in a place where it's going to stay, you want something that's going to last, that's going to stay there for years and be robust, and you want something that's a bargain. Might not be a bargain when you buy it. How much is this tent, Steve, off the top of your head?
This tent is going to set you back about £400 or £500.
£400 or £500. Spread that out over, let's say you've got this tent you're in for 3 years.
Last year a long time.
You're not going to have a cheap budget one in your tent for 3 years, no way. As soon as you turn the fan and filter on the suction in it is going to start buckling itself, isn't it?
Well, let's show them what you do when you've got a grow tent. You do your work, it's all open. Let's close it up. If you come into the shop and you have a play with the tent and you're open and close it, the first thing you'll notice is how easy the zips move up and down. And we've had this tent for about 2 years. The zips still look like they've just come out the wrapper.
I like this one though, because you've got the
know you
windows.
do.
That's why I like it. Because you don't have to go in there and spoil that environment.
Exactly.
You can literally see what you're doing.
You're good to go. Let's zip it up and let's see what the light leakage is like. Light proof.
Even through the zips, look at that. You wouldn't know whether that was on or not, would you?
No.
Until you open the window.
Exactly. The reason that the light leakage is very important is because when you're in your dark cycle, if you have light coming in, it's going to affect the flowering on photoperiodic plants, and it's going to upset the cycle. They're not going to flower as well.
I've had it.
Yeah.
I've had it with the zippers, like the light in, and I've gone into my grow room, like you should in the dark. You should always go into your grow room, even if it's your tent, perch yourself up in there for 10 minutes in the dark, like your eyes
Is
are
that
just...
where you were the other week? I was looking all over for you.
Tight up the stool. I've had it before where my canopy on my plant is being penetrated by the light in the room through the zip, and it has caused me major problems. I think you've had that as well, haven't you, Steve?
In a room.
Yeah. I even say, if you have got to have an extension lead inside, you've seen the little red lights and the little green lights that you get on extension leads, put a bit of masking tape over them, because anything can hinder it. You don't want something to hinder anything, do you?
It's a Barry top tip.
Barry top tip.
Let's move on to our next tent. Let's go. Right, last tent that we're going to show you on this episode, it's the roof cube. Tell us a little bit about the roof cube, Barry.
It's a good quality tent, it's got a good reputation, the roof cube, hasn't it? It's still a 2.4 by 1.2 tent. I think where it actually starts sloping from is about 1.4. Maximum height it goes to is 1.8. That's where the slope comes in. It's great because a lot of people love gardening, a lot of people are hobby gardeners. So if you can't grow anywhere in your house and you've got no room in your garden, no room in your house, best place to go, and I swear they are there. Someone's got a nagging missus in roof cube, I'm telling you now, because they've smashed it. You go into your loft, your missus isn't coming in your loft, is she? So you're going to have a bit of peace while you do your own gardening in your own loft. And these fit in most houses, only because the slope that they put on the roof cube from the 1.4 to the 1.8 fits perfect in most houses in the loft. So it's a good tent for that. And you've still got a lot of growing space. I mean, 1.4 for where it starts to slope is still a good height to do good growing. It still is. So yeah.
If the loft's the last option, and that's the place that the missus can't get, the loft it is.
The loft it is. I might just start doing it in the loft, just to stay away from it.
Yeah, I think these were invented for you, weren't they?
Yeah, they must have been.
Is the light on or off in this tent?
Couldn't tell you.
Exactly. Now, we're not going to show you inside the tent because this is a dark cycle. Actually, what's going on in here is a dark cycle. So, we're not showing it yet, but it's got the windows. And if you need to check in and see what's going on, you can check in without having to get rid of the environment and get rid of the humidity, increase or decrease temperatures. And you know what? Big shout out to Roof Cube. That's the end of episode 4 and building and grow tents. We've been showing you all the best features,
how to select the grow tent, what the best features are.
How to avoid some of the common pitfalls as well when selecting tents. So if we've missed anything, comment below, or if there's something that you want us to go into more detail on, comment below. And as always, please subscribe, because it fills my heart with joy when people subscribe.
Share, like and subscribe.
You tell them that.
Share, like and subscribe.
Credits to P110, who are boom, just there.
There.
If you
Share,
like
like and
music,
subscribe. P110 also.
and flip it over.
That way.
Murky Waters coming at you with the heaviest tunes. Thank you for the beautiful audio.
See you next week.
Friday, 6 p.m. Make sure you're there, don't be late.